read this question carefully. Okay, it says that you have 28 coins. You have 28 coins. Okay, that are all nickels and dimes. So you have 28 coins. So let's assume that nickels, or let's represent nickels with N and dimes with D. So you can write N plus D equals 28, correct? The question also says that the value of coins is $2.05. What does that mean? That means the value of nickels and dimes, okay, is $2.05. Now, what is the value of nickels? The value of nickels is number of nickels, right, times 0.05, correct? What is the value of dimes? The value of dimes is number of dimes times 0.10, correct? So we can write 0.05 n plus 0.10 d equals what? $2.05. Let's call this equation 1 and this equation 2. Now let me write down equation 1 and equation 2 on a clean board, okay? So now if you look at, this was equation 1 and this was equation 2. So now if you look at equation 1, so what we need to do is that in one of these equations we need to write d in terms of n, either d in terms of n or n in terms of d. So if you take a look at equation number 1, we can say that n equals 28 minus d, okay? So I'm going to repeat it one more time, okay? So we have two equations, and I wrote down, these are the two equations that we saw in the previous slide, this equation and this equation. So all I did is that I wrote down the same equation and copied it over to this slide. In order to solve this, and if you look at any of these equations, either equation 1 or equation 2, we have two variables, and ideally we would want to have one variable in one equation so it is easy to solve. How can we do this? We can, if you look at, for example, if you look at equation number 2, okay, we need to write n in terms of d or d in terms of n. So it would be easy to solve this equation, right? And once we have the value of either n or d, then we can solve for the other variable, okay? So now if you look at equation number 1, we can say that n equals 28 minus d, okay? N equals 28 minus d. Let's call this equation number 3. So we can apply the value of n, okay, in this equation. See, we have an n here, and we can apply the value of n in this equation, right? So now we will get 0.05 times n, which is 28 minus d, plus 0.10 times d equals 2.05. So when you solve it, you will get 0.05 times 28, right, which is 1.4, and then 0.05 times d, which is 0.05d, okay, plus 0.10d equals 2.05. Now, what is negative 0.05d plus 0.10d? So when you simplify this, you will get 1.4 plus 0.05d equals 2.05. So what we can do is you can keep 0.05d on one side of the equation, so then you will get 0.05d equals 2.05 minus 1.4. So you will get 0.05d equals 0.65. So when you divide both sides with 0.05, right? 0.05, you will get 13. Okay, so D equals 13. So now you got D. So what you can do is that you can substitute D in this equation with 13, right? And you can get the value of N. So N equals 28 minus D, but you know D is 13, right? D is 13. So N equals 28 minus 13. So N equals 15. So now we got D and we got N. Okay. Now we solve this equation. I mean, we found the value of two variables using two equations.